Hello everybody, Disciple here with Overwatch Curios. With Overwatch as a fully established title at this point, the spotlight is completely shining on things that are coming up next, like new heroes and lore. It's sometimes easy to forget where the game came from and how things got started as a completely different project way back when, because we're so focused on consuming the next big thing in Overwatch like Orisa or the Ana nerfs. However, it's really fun to look back sometimes and think what could have been when it comes to your favorite games and add in your own opinions and speculations, and that's just what we're going to do today with the game that Overwatch actually started out as, Project Titan. Today we're going to take a look at some of the things that would have made Titan amazing because it actually sounds like it would have been really fun to play, and some often wonder what it would have been like to do so. Now I know I talk about Titan a lot, but please bear with me because this game was actually huge before it was shut down, and there's actually a lot that we can really explore about it to see what Overwatch began as in its infancy. Now the game was a futuristic shooter and MMO, and the main concept of Titan was this. You, the player, would maintain a basic or mundane job during the day while fighting against opposing factions at night and between work hours. This is a concept that's never really been done before and has a ton of speculation circling around it. One possibility is that the crafting system was your day job, where you use your chosen specialty to create weapons, armor, gadgets, and more to help you out and your faction, and then use those items when the war rages on during those off hours of work. Another really awesome idea was that the players took on some sort of superhero secret identity type of style, where they were mild-mannered players during the normal times, and then super soldiers when things got rough. It would be amazing to see how Blizzard could have used this night and day civilian soldier rotation as a game mechanic, and how the timing and systems could intermix to make it something playable and not boring on either side of the coin. The concern here is how would these two systems really combine to make excellent gameplay, and how would timing and secrecy work with the concept of a dual life scenario for the player. If the player were able to choose when and how they played, it would definitely make sense, but if they were locked into one mode or the other, that could probably pose a problem. As long as the two jobs synergized and the gameplay was constant and exciting, it could have made a great core element to the title. Now in the near future, science fiction vision of the world where mankind has successfully fought off an alien invasion, Titan puts players in the aftermath, presumably rebuilding and struggling to survive. The player would choose one of three factions waging a cold war over control of the planet to control resources and territory. These territories for the game ranged from the west coast of the United States to Europe, South America, and Australia, and Blizzard's plan was to make the game world huge, and to keep adding areas with expansions in the years after launch, just like they've done with their other MMO, World of Warcraft. This setting gives us a whole plethora of things that could have easily been awesome gameplay elements, like the aliens, for example. Were they completely defeated, or were there still remnants of them around? You can easily see that they could be the starting point to dungeons, scenarios, or missions, and potentially we could explore some of their own land or even just their ships. Now, faction warfare makes perfect sense for PvP gameplay, whether it's closed instances like Battlegrounds or open world PvP, fighting back and forth over resources and land for your faction, and then returning home potentially to your own home cities or states. The locations around the world could support all of these things and even be used in a control map sort of element, like many games are currently using, where every hour or day or week it could refresh a map showing which faction contributed the most to an area and controls its resources, or be real-time to show where the most important battles or locations are at that point, directing players to those locations. Now, systems like this could incorporate the player's day jobs by needing supplies or weapons crafted by the faction as a whole, where you fulfill work orders of some sort to try and boost your own faction's success, where the players could contribute and get rewarded. This could have been a really amazing feature in the game, and one that keeps players active and moving around the world, and not just fighting 24/7, which of course is a fun way to play, but not a great way to experience the world in its entirety. Now, the confirmed classes Titan had were the Reaper, Jumper, Titan, Ranger, and Juggernaut, each having its own special abilities and items. They filled class roles just like other MMOs. Rangers were the ranged DPS, Titans were the tanks, Jumpers were the scouts, and so on. You can obviously see the relation from these classes to the heroes in Overwatch because they were all pretty direct inspirations in one form or another to heroes like Tracer, Reaper, Reinhardt, and Genji. There would have been probably more classes included to fill out all of the roles like healers and supports, or maybe a crowd controller or disruptor, and it would have been fun to see what kinds of abilities these classes would have brought to the battle. Another thought is how your day job would have directly contributed to your class choice. Mixing and matching jobs and classes could yield interesting combos or enhancements that you can't necessarily get from another combo. Say you were an engineer by day and a ranger by night. Perhaps your ranger could have enhanced weaponry or special traps and gadgets that could only come from that combination. Now, it'd essentially make a subclass system of a sort fully possible and probably very interesting. Blizzard could effectively make fewer major classes and focus more on the class and job mix and balance that out accordingly, potentially giving all of the classes some sort of supportive role and not even really needing a dedicated healer. Other games have done the class and subclass before to lots of success, and it could be a huge departure from WoW's ever-growing class list. This also brings to mind the possibilities of a massive web of talents and abilities that the player could unlock over time by combining the various classes and jobs, or even having a system similar to the popular Final Fantasy MMOs, where you only have one character or hero, but you can swap jobs and classes at will as long as you have them unlocked. And that could also be pretty awesome and something very different for Blizzard and Blizzard fans alike. Now, there was a plan in Titan to have a robust AI-driven NPC system that enabled the player to maintain relationships with NPC customers and staff, as the player ran their own business and shops. Now, the idea seems like a mix between a traditional MMO NPC system with reputation and something much more complex, like a game of even The Sims, where you can develop friendships, romantic relationships, and even start families with NPCs in the game. Now, this kind of depth takes that idea of a day job system from being secondary to the combat or just a seemingly minor element to the game and puts it right in front alongside all of the other major systems like combat and territory control. Now, this kind of complex system could have offered a massive number of options and elements in an MMO that we've never actually experienced before. Everything from creating a shop and hiring employees, to run it while you're out waging faction war, to creating lasting relationships with people who may fight or die alongside you, possibly being permanently removed from the game, changing your hero's complete outlook. It would even give the player a much more emotional attachment to the NPCs and their character if they are involved in building these kinds of relationships. Now, in The Sims, many players grow attached to their characters, and when the characters succeed, fail, fall in love, break up, or eventually die, the players have reactions you wouldn't normally see if a random class character died or some NPC has a problem and needs you to kill 10 lizards to solve it. This system could even have its own set of quests, missions, and progression separate from the combat that players could work on and complete. This could also really help players achieve their gameplay fantasy, allowing them to choose what kind of person they like to be. Do they want to be someone that makes a lot of friendships and relationships and allies with a lot of people, or do they want to be a lone wolf that has maybe some working relationships but really approaches everything as if they're on their own? The amazing possibilities of combining these two major systems, combat-oriented gunplay with real-life scenario building, are pretty endless and very, very exciting. Now, to go along with both of these systems, Blizzard wanted to create cities and locations that felt alive, full of shops, busy streets, and NPCs that had lives, going about their business, and having behaviors that felt real. This could create an ever-changing stage on which to play and get away from the normal sight of NPCs just kind of standing there all the time, waiting for an adventure to happen by and accept a quest. This could have been a massive undertaking, but if accomplished, it would have set a new standard in NPC interaction and lifelike environments. You'd be able to walk around all these living, breathing cities during the day, with shops, business hours, NPCs that would be around at certain times and away at others, as well as things like quests and tasks that would have to be done during certain times in the game world. This would also create a system for your business or shop to open and close, receive customers and shipments, just like a real business. To be honest, the day job, dynamic NPC, living cities concept could make a great game in itself, but Blizzard had bigger plans for Titan, and this was just one of the systems in place to captivate fans and really bring immersion in this world to a whole new level. Now, speaking of bigger plans, it's reported that the investments Blizzard made into Titan ranged anywhere between $50 million to $150 million and included massive teams of people from within Blizzard, in the gaming industry, and even outside of the gaming industry to provide the needed talent for the ambitious project. They were practically redesigning the MMO and needed a huge number of resources to actually make it happen. The amazing and seriously awesome plans Blizzard had come up with for Titan would surely require some of the best in the world, and the game would have to make it truly unbelievable to compete in today's MMO market, where free-to-play and less expensive titles kinda dominate the landscape outside of World of Warcraft. This is why Blizzard invested so much time, money, and talent into the project, even though it ultimately failed. Even though we got Overwatch, which is a massively successful title, it's still super exciting to think about what Titan actually had in store for us and how it would have changed the MMO gaming scene for better or worse. Although Titan failed in the end, it doesn't change the fact that there were quite a few things that look seriously awesome about the game, to the point where, based on what we know about it, we can safely say that it could have been one of the most awesome games of all time, although it might not have been super successful if it did release because of all of the problems that could go into making it, and it might have trouble actually nailing those targets it has set for itself. If anyone could have given life to the aging MMO market, it would have been Blizzard, and who knows, maybe one day we'll see a similarly ambitious title with interesting new systems come along from Blizzard or another company that could break the mold. I think it'll be super awesome, but obviously there are a lot of issues to work out first. Anyway, this is my take on what Titan could have been and how it could have been amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot that you guys stick with the channel, keep on subscribing, and keep on watching our videos because we seriously love making them. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.